Okay, friends, so we will continue with the value-based pricing. When we closed the previous session, we saw that there is another method of fixing the prices for products, that is value-based pricing, in which the price of a particular product or a service will be fixed by the value or will be fixed on the basis of the value created or added or perceived by the product sold by the seller or the service rendered by the seller or the service provider. Okay, and we also saw that the value perception can be either by the selling entity or by the buying entity or consumer's perspective. That means how much the consumer expects that a product or a service delivers value to it. Okay, or what is the perception of a selling entity, how much the selling entity thinks that the particular product or service it is providing or delivering is rendering any service to the rendering any value to the customer. Okay, so that is value perception. Now we have to see the other aspects of this value perception. Okay, now the crucial aspect of this value based pricing is determination of the value. Determination of value of a product or service. Okay, how much value a product or service delivers, how to determine it, that is the crucial aspect of this particular method. For this we have two methods. We have two methods for that. One method is okay, the first method of determining the value of a particular product or service is what is known as the objective value method. Objective value method, or this method is also known as true economic value method. True economic value method or TEV method. Okay. Also, the second method is what is known as perceived value method. Perceived value method. Now we will see this method one by one. The first method is the objective value method or true economic value method. You can write the heading objective value or true economic value. True economic value method. Now, What do you mean by the objective value or true economic value of a product or service? Meaning of objective value. Meaning, okay. Objective value or true economic value is the value delivered by the product to the customers. It is the value delivered by a product to the customers relative to the other products offered by the competitors. Offered by the competitors. So this value, objective value, is always determined on the basis of the value offered by the other products by the customers. Okay. Now, to determine this value, this objective value or TV has two components. One is cost of the next best alternative. The cost of next best alternative. That is the first component. And the second component is value of performance differential. Performance differential. Now, what do you mean by the cost of next best alternative? Suppose a company, say AB Limited, is selling a mobile, and this company wants to determine the objective value of this mobile. How can it be determined? Okay, first what you have to do, you have to see similar types of mobiles that are offered by the competitors. Okay, so if it is a mobile which is having a certain specification, the company has to see what is the cost of similar mobile that is offered by the competitors in the market. Okay, let us say a mobile with similar specification and features is being provided by another company, let us say PQ Limited, at a cost of rupees 20,000. Okay, so the first part of this objective value, that is cost of the next best alternative, is nothing but rupees 20,000. Now, the second component, what about the second component? The value of the performance differential. What do you mean by this value of the performance differential? We have taken the cost of the next best alternative. Okay, that is this mobile, the similar mobile. Now, that mobile, that is the next best alternative, and the product which you are delivering will not be same in all aspects. There will be some differences. Okay, in terms of features or anything else. Okay, so you find out the differences in the features of your product vis-a-vis the alternative. Okay, now you are assigning a value to these differences in the features. Differences in the features. Now, if the identical mobile is priced at 20,000 rupees and your mobile is having certain differences between that mobile, then you have to put differences to I think there is some issue with the connectivity. Okay, now I think it's clear, right? Now still the problem persists. Is it fine now? It's heavily raining. I think there are some issues with the connectivity. Is the connectivity issues is still persisting, or is it fine? Can I go ahead? Okay, fine. Okay, so we saw what do you mean by the cost of next best alternative and cost of performance differential. So in case of this cost of performance differential, you will compare your product or service with the next best alternative. You will have to list down what are the differences in the features of your product vis-a-vis the best next alternative. That differences could be a positive for you or negative for you, because your next best alternative may be giving some additional features which your product may not be providing, or vice versa, you may be providing some additional features which is not provided by the your next best alternative. So in that case, you identify the differences in the features and assign value to those differences in features. Okay, and this value differential could be either positive or negative. If your product is superior in terms of features, you give some positive value. If your product has some adverse features, negative value, and you take the net. Okay, the net of all the positive and negative, that will give you the total value of the performance differential. Okay, so likewise, you can find out the objective value by adding the cost of the next best alternative and the value of the performance differential. Okay, now what you have to do? We will have to do some problems on this. Okay, so you can take, I think, question number 7.3. You can read question number 7.3. Okay, so what's given in the question? A customer wants to buy a system for a single year, after which it will be scrapped, with plans to use it for 2500 hours. Particulars: System X and System Y. There are two systems. The operating cost per hour is rupees 5, and in case of System Y it is 7.50. Then the probability of system crash is 10% in case of System X, and in case of System Y it is 0.5. Probability of price for System X is 37,500, and for that of System Y we have to determine. Okay, find the TEV, true economic value, for the System Y if the cost of a system crash to the buyer is 1 lakh. Okay, now how you have to do this particular question? Okay, it's a very base problem where you have the information regarding two systems, and you are supposed to compare between these two systems and find out the true economic value of one system, which is a system Y. Okay, so the information regarding the cost of the comparable system, that is system X, and the features, differences in the features, both are given in the question. Okay, now what do you have to do? First you will have to find out the cost of next best alternative. Okay, so you can write the answer to economic value, OTEV, of system Y is equal to yes, what is it? The cost of next best alternative plus the value of performance differential. Okay, now the cost of next best alternative, which is the next best alternative here, that is system X. So cost of system X plus value of performance differential. Am I right? So the cost of system X is already given, but the value of performance differentials you will have to compute. So you can give next working note, value of performance differential of system X, value of performance differential of system Y vis-a-vis system X. Okay, now there are two features which needs to be considered for the differences in the performance. One is what? The operating cost difference, and the second one is the probability of the system crash. Okay, so first we will take the difference in operating cost. Okay, difference in operating cost. What is the operating cost of system X? They say that per hour it is 5, whereas in case of system Y it is 7.50, and they say that this computer is going to be, or the system is going to be used for total 2500 hours. So the value of, or the difference in the operating cost will be what? 7.50 minus 5 into 2500. Okay, so difference in operating cost will be how much? 7.50 minus 5 into 2500 into 2500. How much it will be? It will work out to 6250. Now let me ask you, is it positive or negative? Which means whether it is a value additions to system Y or value decrease to system Y. the operating cost of system Y is higher than that of system X. Okay, so naturally that is an unfavorable thing as far as system Y is concerned. So naturally what will happen? The value of system Y will come down. So 6250 is negative. Okay, so you can write here, since it is an adverse feature of system Y, it is taken as a cost. Is it clear? Okay. Now similarly, you have to find out the savings. If you see the system crash probability, it is higher for system X, that is 10%, whereas for system Y it is only 0.50. And for each crash, the cost to the buyer will be 1 lakh rupees. So definitely, if you go for system Y, there is a savings to the buyer on account of savings in system cost of system crash, which we need to evaluate. So savings in cost of system crash. Okay, how will you compute? Okay, the cost of system crash multiplied by probability of crash, that is the cost of system crash. Okay, so if you want to find out the difference, what you will have to do? This you will have to compute for X minus, you have to find out cost of system crash into probability for system Y. Am I right? Or you have to write cost of system crash. This is same for both the systems. Okay, into difference in probability. That will give you rupees 1 lakh into, what is the probability of the first system? X, 10%, minus probability of Y is 0.5. So that will be 1 lakh into 9.5, that is rupees 9,500. Is it clear? Okay. Now here system X is having a superior performance. So it is favorable to system Y. It is favorable to system Y. Therefore what happens? It is a net value addition to Y. Therefore, net value on account of performance differential is equal to how much? 6250 negative 6250 plus 9,500. That will give you net positive of 9,500 and 6250. That is 3250. Rupees 3250. So what happens to the here cost of system X, which is the substitute? The cost was given to be how much? 37,500 rupees. 37,500 plus cost of performance, value of performance differential, we have identified it to be 3250. So that will give you 37,500 plus 3250 will be rupees 40,750. Okay, Therefore, the true economic value of system Y is rupees 40,750. You have to conclude the answer. Okay, right. Now, going further, I think that is the only question we have in this particular concept. So you will have to move to the next concept of perceived value. Okay. So far we were discussing about the TEV, true economic value. Now we are going to see the concept of perceived value. Perceived value. Now, what do you mean by perceived value? Perceived value is nothing but the value that the customer understands that the product to deliver it. Understand the product to deliver it. Okay. So, what is the difference between TEV and PEV? I will explain the difference so that this concept will be clear to you. In TEV, what you are doing was you are trying to compare the product or service rendered by a particular entity with a comparable product or service delivered by the competitor. So you are making a comparison between your product or service with that of a product or service offered by the competitor. Okay, so this is an analysis. In case of true economic value, this is an analysis which is being done in the same industry by the sellers only. So TEV is done purely from the seller's perspective and the buyers does not have any role in TEV. Okay, we don't see whether the buyer assets or the customer assets will find that much value for your product. Okay, now you are saying that in the previous question, if you see, we have determined the TEV as 40,750. Now suppose you have delivered this product to a customer and the customer says, no, this particular system has got only a value of 30,000. Okay, then there is a mismatch between your value perception and the customer's value perception. Okay, now TEV is purely from the perspective of the seller, whereas perceived value is purely from the perspective of the customer. How much value the customer understands your product to deliver. Okay, now for example, I told you the case of COVID vaccine. Okay, now if the COVID vaccine is being delivered, is coming next week, suppose it is coming next week, when a COVID patient receives that particular medicine, the value perceived by that particular patient will be much higher than the value which is perceived by a person who is not a patient, COVID patient. Okay, so both differs. So the value perceived by one customer may be different from the value perceived by another customer. Similarly, the value perceived by the customer could be different from the value perceived by the seller. Is it clear? Okay. So, perceived value is the value that the customer understands the product to deliver it. Or, in other words, you can put it as it is the price. It is the price the customer is willing to spend to have a particular product. Now let me ask you, this perceived value, will it be constant always? Will it be constant always? No, it will not be constant. I told you about the example of COVID vaccine. Now the vaccine is coming up. You are not a patient. Okay. Now when you see that the vaccine is priced at a rate of say 5,000 rupees per dose, You may feel that, see, that is exorbitant or that is priced huge. We may make a comment like that. Am I right? But on the other hand, if you are affected with COVID, even that 5,000 is not an issue as long as you get the worth of it. So the moment you change from a non-patient to patient, your perceived value changes. Okay. Now, when the lockdown came, okay, we all had what you call then smart TVs in the in home. Now, suppose there is a student who is taking up online classes. Okay. Now, online classes is given through smart TV. Now, before COVID or before lockdown, the purpose of a smart TV was just to see entertainment programs. But once the lockdown came, the purpose changed. The purpose is also to learn, to attend classes. So what happens? Its value increases. So the value perception changes with respect to time from customer to customer, from buyer to customer. Is it clear? Okay, right. Now, so you can write the perceived value of a product may change from time to time from customer to customer and from buyer to customer. Sorry, from seller to customer. Seller to customer. Okay. So that is the concept of perceived value. Now you don't have any computation on this perceived value, but there is one more small topic: difference between TEV and PV. Difference between true economic value and perceived value. What is the difference? Now you can write TEV is the real worth of a product in comparison with other products. Other product. So this is an objective assessment of value based on comparable products. Comparable products. Now, once you determine the TEV, it will be constant unless the value changes due to some other reason. Okay, you have fixed the TEV of your product to be 40,000 rupees. Now, unless there is a change in the price of your substitute, and that to permanent change, your TEV will not change. Is it clear? So it is something like a permanent value. Okay. On the other hand, perceived value is not an objective assessment of value of a product. Okay, it is only a value based on the need or requirement of a product. Okay, you know that a diamond is a costly thing. Its value will always remain assets. Its physical value will always remain assets. Now suppose this diamond is received by a person who does not know anything about the diamond. Okay, he doesn't know what this stuff is, and as far as he is concerned, it is only a stone-like thing. He is not able to find any value to that particular product. Can you say that the product is useless? No, it has worth, But only thing is that the person who got the diamond does not know the utility. Okay, so as far as that particular person is concerned, the perceived value of that particular diamond is almost nil or very negligible. Whereas if it goes to a person, a jeweler, or a person who knows the value of that particular product, its value will be much, 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 much higher. Okay, so perceived value is not an objective assessment of the value. It is only a value based on the need or requirement of the person who is going to use that particular product or service. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so that is the difference between TEV and PV, perceived value of the true economic value or objective value. Okay, now we will have to move to the next this one. You can write the head strategies for pricing a new product. Strategies for new product pricing. Okay, now if you are launching a particular product, what all are the strategies which you can follow in order to price that particular product? Okay, now the first point which you need to keep in mind is the pricing strategy. The pricing strategy will depend on the type of the product launched. Okay, type of the product launched. So you need to know what is the classification of the product. Okay, so classification of product for this purpose alone. For this purpose alone, okay, you can classify it into three. Okay, one is okay. First product is revolutionary product. This classification is quite important because I think we lost the connection. Let me see. Okay. Okay. First one is revolutionary product. Then second one is evolutionary product. Evolutionary product. And third one is Me Too product. Wow. Me Too product. Okay. What do you mean by revolutionary product? What do you mean by evolutionary product? And what do you mean by Me Too product? Please keep this as important concept because it may be used, it may be required for case studies. Okay. So what is a revolutionary product? A revolutionary product is a product which is launched to the market for the first time. It is a revolution. Such a product was not there in the market earlier. Okay, something very new, brand new, a new concept is going to come. Okay, something like Uber. Uber app is a product. The concept of Uber is new. That came. It's a revolutionary product. Okay, when Windows came, it's a revolutionary product. Okay, now if COVID vaccine comes, it's a revolutionary product. Okay, so revolutionary products are those products which are new to the market. New to the market and has the potential to create value on its own. Has the potential to create the value on its own. Okay, that is revolutionary product. If you ask me for examples, I can tell you COVID vaccine. Right now, it is a revolutionary product. I don't know what will happen after some time. Okay, now why it is a revolutionary product? It will revolutionize entire healthcare. Okay, now another example I can think of is Android products. Google got uh, uh, Google got this Android platform. Okay, it was a revolutionary product. It changed the entire way in which electronics world is working. So it's a very revolutionary product. Okay, now what is the features of a revolutionary product? A revolutionary product enjoy a premium price. Okay, why a premium price? Because no one else has launched that product or similar product in the market. It's a brand new product. So naturally, when something new comes to the market will accept with both hands, and the customers will find lot of utility in that because there are no substitutes, there are no competitors, so there is nothing to compare. So any revolutionary product will enjoy a premium price. Okay, so why it is enjoying a premium price? Because of the reward for innovation, because it is an innovative product. Okay, also the reward for taking first initiative. First initiative. Okay, so it enjoys a premium price, therefore follow a strategy of charging premium prices. Is it clear? Yes. Now, going ahead, the next category after revolutionary is evolutionary. Evolution. Okay, what do you mean by evolutionary product? It is an upgraded version of an existing product. It is an upgraded version of an it's not a new concept, it's not a new product. Similar products are there in the market, but that product has evolved into a new product. Okay, and that is being launched in the market. Okay, now you can find evolutions or upgraded features in the case of smartphone segments every now and then. Okay, every time when a new company comes with a new product or a different product, it has got some evolution, so changes from its previous model. Okay, so it every time these smartphones which are being introduced is an evolutionary product. Is it clear? Okay, so if you want, you can write an example. Smartphones launched. Smartphones launched new features. Okay, now what is the pricing strategy to be followed? Pricing strategy to be followed. You can price the product on the basis of demand. On the basis of demand. So such a pricing is known as demand based pricing. Okay, so what is demand-based pricing? Demand-based pricing is a pricing which depends upon the demand of a particular product. Okay, so that is demand-based pricing in case of revolutionary products. Now, third category. What is third category? Me Too product. What do you mean by Me Too product? Me Too product is a copycat. Okay, Revolution, it's a brand new product. Evolution, it's only upgraded version. Me Too means there is some product in the market. I'm just copying it and I'm replicating the product. Okay, so Me Too means these are products which are very similar or identical to the existing product. Okay, why it is introduced? It is introduced due to the success of a revolutionary product. Somebody came with a new product, some innovations. Okay, and it was a revolutionary product and it was successful also. Has huge margins. Naturally, what will the competitors will see? Yes, that particular product is a new product and it has good margins also. So let's also copy that. Okay, so that is it's a copy of a revolutionary product. Okay, now what's happening is the pricing. Me Too products. What can you do? You don't have any too much options here. You just need to follow others. Your product itself is a copy of some other existing product. So how much others are charging, same amount you charge. Okay, so follow others, adopt the average price of identical products available in the market. Okay, so price will be fixed by whom? Our previous one. Who is that? Market forces. Market will be fixed by market forces. Okay, right. So anyone who introduces Me Too product is only a price takers. Okay, he doesn't have any control over the price. They cannot fix the price. Is it clear? Okay, so that is with respect to the products. Okay, now you can write the heading. Next topic is pricing methods for new products. Okay, in the previous session, we saw how to classify the new products. Okay, you are launching a new product. You have categorized it to be either revolutionary or Me Too product. Now what you have to do? You have to find out some method to fix the price. Okay, for which you need to adopt certain strategies. Okay, so new products, you can write new products are priced on the basis of any of the following strategies. Again, this is something which you have already learned in your previous level. Okay, we have got two strategies here. One is skimming strategy. Have you heard about skimming strategy? And the next one is penetration strategy. skimming strategy and penetration strategy. I think I have given it in the material. Okay. Yes, skimming price policy and penetration pricing policy. You can take page number 22, okay, of the material I have shared. Okay, what do you mean by skimming pricing policy and what do you mean by penetration pricing policy? Okay, I will first explain the methods, then we will go through the material. Okay, skimming pricing strategy means what you are doing is you have a product. That product will be priced at a premium rate. At premium rate. Say for example, if you are going with a brand new mobile, launching of a brand new mobile, you have computed its TEV as, let us say, 25,000. Okay, TEV is the true economic value. How did you find out true economic value? You just compared with the next best alternative of similar characteristics or similar features, etc. Okay, you got it to be 20,000 and 5,000 you are adding for the performance features or performance differentials. So TEV came to 25,000. Now, if you are following this skimming strategy, if your TEV is 25,000, what you will do is you will fix the price to be, say, 25,000, 50,000, almost double of the normal value. Okay, why you are doing that? You are pricing your product at an exorbitant premium rate so that you can lure the premium customers. Okay, why? Because to attract premium customers. Why is it done so? Because there are certain philosophies which are used in the marketing scenario. See, if there are two products, both of them giving you same features, everything same, but it is not identical. It is not like you are our previous example of rice and rice, or sugar and sugar. A sell 1 kg sugar, B also selling same kind 1 rupee sugar. You cannot use any skimming strategy here. But you have a mobile. There are other mobiles or similar mobiles sold by some other person. You are launching same features, a mobile phone with same features, but you are pricing it at 50,000, whereas the other products are priced at 30,000 with almost similar quality, similar features, etc., etc. Now, when you price your product at 50,000, naturally the message that will convey to the market is your product is not meant to common man. It is meant to an elite class only. So naturally, the elite class or others, what they will feel is your product has got some better features, better quality, or it is some better. That is why you are charging higher. Basically, you may be giving same offers or same features as that is given by a 20,000 or 30,000 priced mobile. But as you have priced your product at a high level, the market will sense it as a premium product and your products will be branded as a premium product. Is it clear? So, skimming strategy, we will read skimming strategy. It's a policy of charging high prices during early period of a product existence, and in the later years, the prices are gradually reduced. It's the same strategy that is followed by a Apple. Okay, Apple products, when they launch the product, it will be priced exorbitantly high. Okay, so even then, those people who can afford it, they are going for this because it's taken as a status symbol. Apple products are taken as a status symbol. But year by year, after that initial pull is over, when they go for a new model, what they will do? They will drastically reduce the prices of the previous model. Which means even at that level, they are making profits. Okay, so think about the initial margins, huge margins. Okay, so it's a policy of charging high prices or premium prices during the earlier period of the product's existence, and in the later years, the prices are gradually reduced. Why the prices are gradually reduced? Because when you have positioned your product as a premium product, and subsequently when you reduce the selling price, the customers will feel that yes, some world-class product is available at a cheaper rate. Let's buy it. Okay, it's a marketing trick. Okay, now what are the reasons for following such a policy? Okay, one, inelastic demand at the early stages of product introduction, because you don't know what would be the demand of your product at the initial stages. So what you want to sell only lower number, you have produced only lower number of products. So naturally what will happen, due to lack of economies of scale, you are not able to produce huge quantities, so your cost per unit will be higher. Okay, and also the demand will be less. So naturally what you can do, you need to, if you want to recover your high cost, you will have to price it higher. Okay, next, sale boost by skimming the creamy layer of the market who are relatively sensitive to the price. Okay, you are charging exorbitant high rates, but there are certain sections of community who are not bothered about what price. They are only bothered about the status or the brand. Okay, so if Apple launches a product which may be costing to them at say 25,000 rupees, but they are charging 1 lakh rupees, even then there will be lot of people who will be ready to buy that particular product. Of course, quality is there. Second, it is a brand value, and these sort of customers are not sensitive to the price. Okay, so another advantage or feature is assured profit right from the beginning of the product information introduction. So generally what the companies or entities who launch a particular product will do is they will try to reduce they will try to keep the prices lower in the initial days, so that what will happen, as the volume increases and the market share increases, they will be able to increase the price. Okay. On the other hand, here what you are doing is you are charging exorbitant rates initially itself, so that you can position your product as a premium product. And thereafter, once your product has settled in the market, you may slightly reduce the price to lure more volume. Okay. So by this, you will be able to get profits right from the beginning of your product introduction. Okay, next benefit is cost revenue matching in terms of high advertisement and promotional costs. See, normally what happens, we have seen about the product life cycle. Okay, in the initial phases of introduction and growth, the advertisement and marketing expenses or cost will be huge. Okay, so due to that, you may end up in losses in the initial periods. But once you reaches the maturity phase, you don't require too much expense for your advertisement because your product is already known in the market. So what you have to do, you just need to sell the product and make maximum volume. For which, what you can do, you can reduce the price once it reaches the maturity phase. Is it clear? So the high cost that is incurred in terms of advertisement and promotion in the early phase of the product introduction may be easily recovered by charging a premium rate. That is the another benefit of skimming price policy. Now moving to the next topic, that is penetration pricing policy. What do you mean by penetration pricing? Penetration pricing is nothing but what Jio did. Okay, they are charging very low prices initially. Why is it done? To acquire large market share. Okay, you can obtain large market share. Okay, that is penetration. So skimming means charging high rate. Penetration means charging lower, very low. Okay, so that you can increase the volume and increase the market share. Once you have a definite market share, what you can do, you can increase the prices. See friends, you cannot say that skimming is the best strategy or penetration is the best strategy. It all depends upon the product to product, types of type to type, company to company, and even time to time. Is it clear? Okay, so that is penetration strategy. Now we will see what is given in the material. Penetration pricing policy. It's a policy of using low price as the principal instrument for penetrating mass markets by early and popularize the product faster. So you want to enter into the market faster. So you are keeping the prices to be lower. Okay. Initial stages will not only give market share but and not profits. Will only give market share but not profits. However, profits can be earned as the market share is consolidated. Okay, so initially you don't have to worry about the profits because it's your introduction phase and you are charging lower rates. So naturally what will happen, you will end up in losses. But after some time, once you have capitalized, once you have consolidated your market share, what's the benefit? You can start making profits. Okay, right. Now next is various circumstances in which will recommend penetration pricing policy are elastic demand. The next is when there is a scope for large scale production, huge savings on account of mass production. Keep competition away from charging lower prices. These are the penetration pricing policy features. Okay. Now scenarios of pricing. We will quickly go into that. Situation. A is a new product for the company and the market and meant for large scale production and the long term survival in the market. Demand is expected to be elastic. What is the acceptable pricing, appropriate pricing method? A is a new product and for the company as well as the market, and it is meant for large scale production. Okay, and long term survival in the market. Demand is expected to be elastic. See here, the company is looking for large scale production, and they say that the demand is elastic. What do you mean by demand is elastic? Elastic demand means demand varies with price. Okay, elastic demand. You can write elastic demand means it's not price, it's demand varies. Reduction in price results in increase in volume, and decrease in price results in increase in price. Increase in volume. Okay. So here the demand is elastic also. So what is the best method? Here the company is going for a long-term objective, and there is a large-scale production. So if they want to sell large-scale production and it is a long-term, it's always better to go with penetration pricing. Why penetration? You charge less initially because you have huge volume that is being manufactured. If you adopt the skimming price, you may not be able to sell the entire product. You may be getting some margins, but you may not be able to sell your large production, for which you need to go with penetration pricing. So initially you go with penetration, and later on once you have your market consolidation, then you go for increasing the prices. Okay. Next is B is a new product for the company. It is not for the market. B's success is crucial for the company's survival in the long term. Yes. So what do you have to do? This product is new product as far as B is concerned, but it is not a new product to the market because there are a lot of other products like this of similar nature in the market. Now B success is crucial for the company's survival in the long term. So what do you have to do? You have to price the product at market price or just below the market price, because what you have to do is you need to it's a new product and you need to get this product clicked. because it is affecting your survival. So you can't charge exorbitant rate, you can't charge low rates. So charge market price or price just below the market price. Okay. Then next is C is a new product to the company and the market. It is an inelastic market. Inelastic market means nobody is bothered about the price and volume. Okay, whatever be the price you are charging, the demand will be there. There needs to be an assured profit to cover high initial cost and unusual sources of capital have uncertainties blocking them. So what is the pricing method? Skimming strategy. Why skimming? Because one is the demand is inelastic. Okay, so the price and demand is not causally related. That is one thing. Second thing, they need assured profits in the initial year itself to cover the high initial cost. So you can go for skimming policies. Now fourth one, D is a perishable item with more than 80% of the shelf life over. What you can do? Any cash realizable value. If you have such issues, you need to sell your product immediately and realize the amount. Okay, then D. Fourth one, D is a perishable item. It's more. Okay, fine. D is also we have covered. Okay, so that is the pricing strategy. So depending upon the strategy you are following, either you have to go with skimming or you have to go for penetration policy. Okay, right.